Oh, hey JJ.
Hey Melissa, what's up?
Um, you know what? I am really upset and I just want to get out
Uh,
ahead of this right now. You cannot interrupt and go around our process
yeah,
in customer service. Like you
okay,
you have to stop doing that. It is
yeah,
totally disrupting the
uh,
team. It's
okay.
undermining me. What are you doing?
Hey, like most, can you just send me maybe an email later about that?
No, we have to talk about this right now. I can't have you doing this anymore. This is like the third or fourth time.
So Melissa,
Yeah.
one thing that I find a real challenge in our remote work environment is just hauling off and yelling at somebody.
Totally.
Well, I'm being a little facetious, but having a disagreement with somebody is kind of challenging
Yeah.
in our remote environment. You know, a lot of times if I had a trouble with somebody, I'd just walk over to their desk and be like, hey, we got to have a conversation.
Right.
And we just kind of hash it out.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's much harder because the communication's more asynchronous. Not everything's in the same, space.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we should talk about how we can effectively
Yes.
have disagreements remotely.
Right. I
And
think
I am
that's
not
great.
advocating that my first method was an effective way of
Hollering, just hauling off and hollering.
right.
I think one of the major things too that impacts this is your natural personality style.
Yep.
If you're somebody who's a lot more extroverted, perhaps, like you really enjoy getting right in there, like let's
Yeah.
just go.
Yep. Let's hash this out right now.
Yeah, and if
Yep.
you have a high sense of urgency, especially
Mm-hmm.
so. And then if you've got more of an introverted personality, you might be more in alignment with wanting to just type something out or just
Yep. Mm-hmm.
quietly take care of things too. But I think in a remote situation, everything is really amped up. So I think like one of the first things is to really notice how you're pushing your opinion out. You know, are you exaggerating the opinion because you're just really wanting to win the argument or whatever it might be?
Yeah. Or are you just deciding to be really reclusive about things
Yeah.
and just really under the radar all the time?
Right. And I think honestly, sometimes it's easy to go both directions, right?
Yep.
It's super easy
Yep.
to do that.
Yep.
So I think really just really trying to keep track of what is my way that I'm pushing this out, and can I do it in a way that's a little more neutralizing
Yeah.
rather than divisive.
And being mindful of those sort of that natural wiring
Yeah.
of your personality, because everyone's got a certain style.
Yes.
You probably know your style, so just being aware if you're going a little above or
Yeah.
under that,
Right.
in the remote environment.
I think too, like another really common thing that happens, and I would say even before we were all remote, was hiding behind electronic ways of
yeah.
communicating instead of just talking
Yeah.
or picking up the phone.
Right. Like sending an email
Uh-huh.
or like using your instant messaging platform like Slack or Teams to send a little
Barb.
nasty gram. Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
or even texting.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it feels like that's actually an easier thing to do, but it might be easier in the moment, but it actually creates a longer term problem and creates sort of a gap, I think, between
Yep.
you and the other person.
For sure, because we all know that depending, and we had another lesson about this, those text mediums, depending
Yeah.
on the receiver of them
Yes.
and their mood, those messages will be taken in very different ways than maybe you intend.
Exactly right. And the other way that they're taken is by the number of emails or whatever that have gone back and forth. So if we're into like the third or fourth exchange,
Yeah.
that's usually when people are starting to dig their heels and getting
The
really crabby.
longer the thread, the worse everything
Exactly.
gets.
And then
Yep.
finally, too, I would say it's your energy. You know, what is the energy that you're pushing out? Again, if you're feeling really tired or if you're feeling a little on the grumpy side anyway, and you're trying to have a bit of a disagreement with someone, the energy that you're kicking out actually can make it a whole lot worse or a whole lot better if you just have some awareness about what that is.
Yep. And I would say, in my experience, if I'm having, a call, a video conference, and I'm in maybe even a good mood,
Yeah.
that kind of gets squashed through that
Yeah.
medium, right? So you actually kind of have to be a little bit more overboard with your energy than you expect when you're on video.
Yes.
Because video kind of takes everything down
Yes,
a
that's
little a
right.
notch. compared to being in person.
I mean, we've learned that even just in our work with video, that and the camera adds 10 pounds, but that's a total different side note. Okay, anyway, so let's just do a quick recap. So we first of all want to really understand and recognize how strongly we're kicking our opinion out, or if we are just trying to not even really get that invested, so we're keeping our opinion back.
Yep, and we want to not hide behind our electronics.
Yes.
Right? When in doubt, maybe pick up the phone or have an actual video call with somebody.
Or even ask to set up a time to have that conversation. And then finally, really keep track of your own energy. Keep in mind that whatever you're pushing out energetically is what the person hears first.